Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we will be diving into a nice Qigong flow, and we're going to take our time today exploring in depth 3 of my favorite exercises. Today's first exercise is called Lift Up and Pour Down. This exercise helps us get in tune with our breath and our body. As we inhale, we scoop the energy up, keeping a straight spine and our crown up to the heavens. As we exhale, we push our palms down. As we inhale, we breathe in all that wonderful life force energy into our dantian or our abdomen. At any point during the practice, feel free to adjust your stance and just explore what the body feels like. Noticing how when we inhale, we can be lightly pushing off our feet. Noticing how it feels to push off our feet, what momentum is created into our legs and our glutes and our lower back, and what happens as we raise our hands, our wrists, and our elbows and pushing down with our palms. What's happening in our back, what's happening in our legs, and what's happening in our whole body. Just noticing how we feel. With each exhale, see if you can let go a bit more of your shoulders, your chest, your arms, your forearms, even your wrists. Trying to stay loose and soft through the movements. In Qigong, as we breathe in and we breathe out, while we focus on releasing tension, directing the flow of energy, we can begin to notice a space between our joints. We can notice our fascia, our tendons and ligaments lightly releasing, just slowly releasing. Now, sometimes we think of relaxation as weakness, but in this practice, we become more familiar with our body and the subtleties that connect each joint, tendon, and bone together. When we're aware of this and we breathe into these spaces mindfully, fully focusing, allowing all other thoughts outside of the practice to come and go like passing clouds, we begin to develop another type of strength. And we begin to feel what is called Qi, which is, simply put, just electricity in your body that you begin to notice. But also, due to your breathing and your relaxation, you begin to guide the Qi, release the blockages in all your meridians, so that this Qi, this energy, this breath, can flow freely. You become this beautiful, more efficient conductor of this electricity. A few more breaths here, and we'll move on to our next movement. As we exhale, directing the flow of energy, pushing out, but relaxing. As we're inhaling through our diaphragm, through our power center, called the Dantian, the lower elixir field. On our next inhale, pushing out and pulling back the bow with the other arm. On the exhale, extending the fingers, almost like you're shaking a hand, and coming all the way across, and naturally exchanging your hands and repeating the movement on the other side. As we come across, the knee follows after the waist, lifting up the heel briefly, then entering a horse stance briefly. As we exchange, more of a lunge, and as we push out and pull back, more of a horse stance, opening the knees to each side. So we'll take a bit of a break from the horse stance here. Take a few breaths, still continuing the movement, and letting go of any excess tension. If you need to, shake out your body, kick out your legs, and come back to the pose. We're going to be doing round 2 and entering a bit deeper of a horse stance this time. So you'll see the technique of the knees and the leg positions are very important. As we inhale, pushing out with one arm and pulling back with the other, stretching out that chest, opening the shoulders. And as we exhale, sink down, sink your root down, extending the fingers and turning the waist. For this one, we'll stay in our horse stance, just noticing how that feels in our body. As we exhale, push out. Shake that hand. Keep exhaling. Dispel all traces of air from all of your lungs, your diaphragm, everything. Good. Inhaling deep, big, through the nose, entering your diaphragm, and then your lungs. On the exhale, pushing out, and then shaking your hand, extending those fingers out, turning the arm, turning the waist. Now we can turn the hip. Good. Remember, with each inhale, we return back to that powerful, rooted horse stance. The key to a healthy horse stance is to open up your knees to the side, to angle your toes outwards. Good. I like to mix it up. I like to really play with my whole body here. Like I've mentioned before and in my other videos, these are merely guides and frameworks, but I'll always teach you the basics and the most important fundamentals for success, safety, and further development. If you want a challenge here, come in close, try to see how long you can do this, how deep you can do it, but how well you can do it. Stick to good form. If you can't get as deep as me, that's fine. You're probably just starting. If you are looking for an awesome progression, I suggest checking out some of my other videos, as well as just practicing the horse stance. Keeping those knees out, those feet angled outwards, coming down only to your skill level, and really just putting in the time, coming back and coming back and coming back the next day, the day after, putting in a little bit of work, breathing through those movements. You'll find your mobility, your strength, your resilience, and your overall chi levels will increase. But It's not necessary for practicing Qigong. It is, however, necessary for different Shaolin forms, as well as many other traditional Chinese martial arts, and it has incredible benefits. I do have a few videos on my channel regarding the horse dance, and I suggest you do check them out if you are interested. For everyone else, we're about to jump into our next exercise, our final exercise, really learning how to manage our qi. So with the horse dance and other things, we can develop a great amount of qi, just like lifting weights, just like doing powerlifting. But what do we do with this qi? What do we do with it? Now this exercise here is called building the qi ball. So I will show you what to do with it, or at least how to begin to feel it if you haven't been feeling it already. Now this is as simple as everything else we've been doing. Don't think too much about it. Relax your shoulders, watch my movements. As we exhale, we push in. As we inhale, we pull out, we expand the body. And as we exhale, almost like we're waving through something. Maybe exploring a distant realm. Maybe we're just trying to massage a cloud, throwing it up and just trying to catch it. We're trying to hold a really light ball of fur or hair. Whatever you want to imagine, do it softly. Think that if you hold on too tight to this thing, it will break. Really expanding out those fingers, extending them slightly, and spreading them out. Good. With each inhale, we gather, we expand our body. And with each exhale, we compress. Trying to keep those elbows loose, those forearms loose, those wrists loose, and just having those palms face each other. There are many ways and methods to build this qi ball. When I'm building it, I love to take a little break, snap my shoulders back, take a little movement break, and come right back to it. Because all you're doing is using your own internal energy that you've generated through movement and breath, and of course food or fat if you've been fasting. Okay? That's all we're doing here. Pure science. We are these wonderful balls of light and energy. And we're simply learning how to tap into that energy and mindfully use it. As this is a meditative practice, when we slow down and we become more mindful, we begin to notice things on a different level. One of my favorite exercises is the pushing through the palms. You're going to breathe like a magical archon being of light. I think of some kind of wonderful flying being from a distant universe, pushing energy out of their hands, maybe rocketing out to space by pushing them down like jetpacks. As we breathe in, raise our arms up, and as we breathe out, really pushing out the center of your palm. You can bring that all the way down, inverting your palms. You feel an incredible stretch. I wouldn't be surprised if you felt some pops and cracks in your shoulders, but I have helped a lot of people with severe shoulder issues with this exercise. More and more recently actually have reached out to me. So I know this exercise works, and I suggest you try it out. Now, it might feel like wow, that's a crazy stretch if you're doing it right. should feel a stretch all the way into your tricep, your bicep, pretty much every part of your arm. If you flex your core and you push out through there, you're going to feel an even better stretch. So it's just coming from the concept of the interconnected piezoelectric body. As we really release all these blockages, we can take our time with that, or we can do more of a forceful stretch. Now, forceful doesn't always have to be a bad thing. I would consider some yoga poses forceful. I would consider saving someone, pulling them out of a bus that's sinking in the river, forceful. We're using our muscles, forcing the contraction, okay? Not saying forceful is bad, but we want to separate in our mind the difference between using force and using soft, more elastic energy. So earlier I mentioned, what do we do with the qi? And this isn't something I can answer for you, but by providing the framework of Qigong, hopefully I can help you answer that yourself. What do you want to do with this energy? How will you mindfully carry this beautiful energy in this, whether it's more increased vibrance that you've gained today, more balance, more self-control, a feeling of discipline. For everyone, it's usually something different. Hopefully, this framework can help provide you with the necessary tools to find out how and what to do with this energy.